Lucy with a second.
I don't even know.
Bless
That's more
you.
English than he's ever spoken. Oh, the hat.
Yes. Well, I'm got a segue. So good to see you. So we are $2 late fee. We're an 80s movies podcast. We're also voice actors, and we're friends with Brendan. Good to be with you.
Yeah, great to meet you.
In your booth. So one of the things I need to talk about is, because you really are an inspiration as far as voice actors go, because of your origin story, which relates to my hat.
Yes.
If you would be so kind as to tell our listeners, Telltale Games.
Yeah, that's a crazy. I don't know if we have the time, 8 minutes, but I got into voice acting in a really, really weird way. I heard they were making a Back to the Future game. My cousin Johnny was like, you got to call Telltale, or you got to call the company and say, I do a great Marty McFly impression. And I was like, that's insane. And I was like, okay. So I found their numbers on a website, because back then they just had their phone numbers listed, which now seems ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah.
But I called up the first person I saw, which was my buddy now, Rhoda, and left a message and was like, hey, my name's LoCascio. I do a great Marty McFly impression. And I'm older now, so my voice is deeper, but
it still tracks.
It's
still
good,
okay,
dude.
cool.
Good.
I also haven't warmed up, but I just left this message, and then I got a call or an email, I don't remember which one, back that was just like, hey, can you send us an audition? So I didn't hear anything back for 3 months. Just happened to move out to LA because I was very clinically depressed and needed a change of scenery because I was in New Jersey. And I had a roommate who was just like, move in with me. And I was like, okay. And then the week I got here, they were like, hey, can you re-audition? It's between you and one other person. I was like, what? So
Whoa.
I did. And I got it. And then, stopped eating for 2 weeks because I was so nervous.
Yeah.
But it was, that was my first thing, was doing Marty with, Bob Gale heard it, and Christopher Lloyd, and very, very, very surreal, and not something that, and when people say, how do I get into voice acting? I'm like, I have no idea.
Right.
Because it's such a bizarre story that even when I tell it, don't believe.
Right. Leave a message on the accountant of Telltale.
Yeah.
Stalk
So
them.
strange. Apparently they were playing the message for everyone in the company too, which I found out later, and I was like, that's bananas.
It's fantastic. I mean, it's a real testament to shooting your shot, as they say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only way to live, I think, to some degree. Is one of my buddy Dan Milano says, the naive will inherit the earth, and I'm like, that's how I try to live, is just being
I love that.
Normally you apply with an agent.
It's really true. And not to say that you wouldn't be here now.
But I wouldn't be.
But maybe,
100% would not be.
but you're saying it.
Yeah,
you're saying
100%.
it.
Yeah.
And you're stepping into the big shoes of Howie Mandel from the original Gremlins. And how did that feel intimidating at all, stepping into such a huge role?
It's never easy to step into a role like this, and I'm very fortunate to have done it a couple times. But Gizmo is you picture his little suction cup hands on, he's an icon. I mean, he's such an 80s. If you grew up in the 80s or 90s, he's everywhere. So it's very, very intimidating. And, I don't know what Howie's take on any of this is, if he's heard me, but it's intimidating. Very, very, very intimidating, but exciting. I was thrilled when I heard that there was even an audition. And then when I got it, I lost my mind. So I was,
right. I can imagine. Can you talk about that audition process a little bit?
Yeah.
I mean, it was basically a list of sounds I was sent. It's like, Gizmo's upset, Gizmo's happy, Gizmo. It was just a laundry list. And so I did it. And at the end, they didn't ask us to do Bright Light or Mogwai or any of the things you've heard him say. So I just did and I think I did the song too. I just added that into it.
Awesome.
And I was like, sure, a little extra bonus. And then they just were like, all right, you're hired, come on in. But it was for an animation test. This is before the series even happened. So I was like, okay, they're going to recast me, right? I thought for sure they'd get someone else. So to be here now it just feels surreal.
Did you grow up? I mean, obviously you're a little bit younger than we are, but did you grow up watching Saturday morning cartoons when you were a kid?
Oh, yeah. Yes. I mean, for me, it was mostly X-Men, the animated series, and Batman, and
good choice.
Tiny Toons, and Animaniacs and real Ghostbusters. Like, yeah, it's so yes, of course, cereal and cartoons.
You're tapping into all those things. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about your show is that it borders that fine line between like a kid's cartoon, but gets pretty dark too.
It definitely gets dark in a way that I was like, when I saw some of the dailies or whatever, what do you call it in animation? I was like, oh my God, like, yeah, it's scary in a way that the things that we grew up with, like Goonies and Gremlins, is scary. And also the kids, like, you know, they wield things and kick butt in a way that I was not expecting.
Right.
And it's refreshing because it's something that I feel like is missing from a lot of like kids media, where they have teeth and they have guts, and, you know, and the monsters are scary in a way that's exciting.
I mean, that's the connection to the 80s movies, you know, because we always talk about, you know,
Monster
the Goonies
Squad
and dude, Monster Squad, you were speaking our language.
Yeah.
I love language.
And other than Harry Potter, you just don't see that a lot these days.
No, everything's been very, very shaved down in a way that's like, you know, you lose a little bit of its edge. But yeah, I grew up with Monster Squad and Gremlins and Indiana Jones and, you know, all that stuff. So it's like, yeah, I like that these kids have they're real, you know, they react in a way that, like, I was always frustrated as the sorry, tangent. In the X-Men cartoons, how Wolverine never would stab anything with his claws. You know, he'd always just kind of like, you know, and hit something else, and then something would fall. Like this,
Come on.
Yeah, there's some direct adult or mature responses in a way that I'm like, cool, this is real.
This is real.
So I'm excited.
We got to have you on our show properly to talk 80s movies and cartoons.
Yes.
That would be amazing.
Yes, we would love to.
I have Han and Lotor and Figment and some other things I've done, but like, those are 80s babies. So
I know you are a part of that 80s fold now. So
it's crazy. I'll never be able to absorb it. It's all just kind of like, okay, cool.
Okay, cool.
There's no part of your brain that allows that to enter.
Just enjoy the ride.
I'm trying.
You're super talented, and congrats on all the success in the new show.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. You have the best Marty McFly I've ever heard.
Oh, thank you. I think Michael J. Fox is a little bit better.
No.
No, stop.
No.